Hey y'all, hey y'all, ha ha. Come on and join me on the stoop. Let's get on the stoop, y'all. Hi, good evening, Cinto. Ha ha ha. Come on, y'all. Let's get on the stoop. Hey yo, hey yo. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Let's get on the stoop. I'm sorry for last week. I'm sorry about last week. Let me tell you. Trying to get camera, remember camera angles. Ha ha! I'm grateful for you. We talked to. Oh! I'm glad. Yes, I do. Ha ha ha! Thank you so much. Okay, I'm trying. It's probably because I'm old and I speak slowly. Thank you. Thank you. It's because I'm old and I speak slowly. So I'm glad I could help. Oh, not at all. Oh, let me open this up. Thanks for coming on the porch with me. Come on, y'all. Let's go. We have some exciting news to talk about. Okay, maybe not exciting. Exciting to me. Exciting to me. And what I want to talk to you about, again, I apologize for last week. An event was supposed to happen that didn't happen, and it bummed me out. It bummed me out. And even as much as I like going on the porch, if I felt like that when I lived in Bed-Stuy back in the early 80s, which is where this whole Bed-Stuy um, Bed-Stuy Brownstone story comes from, I would be in the house. And then one of the neighbors would knock on the door and say, "Why are you not outside talking to us?" And then I would tell them, well, an event didn't go right. And they would say, get up and stop it. But I didn't have them there. So I was like, you know what? I got to go sit down somewhere. So I apologize for that. And hopefully that will not happen again. So I'm glad to be back. Thanks for coming on the porch. Okay, Central God, thank you. Thanks for coming on the porch. Because I gotta tell you, I love transgender women. And I want to spend the rest of my life, if I'm to have a mate, he'll have to be an older gentleman who is a transgender woman. And I'm going to tell you how this was just before I came on. And I generally don't look at TV. Let me give you a chance to come in. That's what this whole Bed-Stuy Brownstone. Brownstone is like an old timey house. It used to be when the rich old Caucasian, the Europeans and stuff used to live there. It was one whole house. You had the servants, the kitchen on the ground floor. You had the servants living on the top floor, and the family lived in between. And the servants spent all their time running up and down, taking care of the family. Okay, okay. Don't say he understands perfectly. Okay, thank you. Um, so that's how they were. But of course, by the time we were able, like my landlord's father and mother bought like a bunch of houses on Hancock Street. So then they turned those into rooming houses because no no one was, could afford apartments like that. So some of the rooming houses had 2 bedrooms or 2 rooms, and some just had one. And that's what the brownstone was. So then also you had some landlords who just turned each floor into a whole apartment. So that's what the brownstones were in Brooklyn, New York, Bed-Stuy, back in the 80s, when I'm talking early 80s, late 70s, when the time I'm pinpointing. So let me tell you what confirmed to me today that my perfect, perfect, perfect mate for me until I leave this earth is a transgender woman. I'm telling you. So I don't look at TV too much, but I do true crime. And one of the true crimes said, something, something, American Monster. So it's a TV, it's American ID Discovery. So I said, okay, let me go, check that out, see what's going on. And I went, and I gotta do this in a minute. Excuse me 1 minute, please. Ooh. And so I went there. Okay, sorry, y'all. Okay. All right, there we go. So I went there looking for the show that connected the American Monster and connected to, the true crime thing. So I was like, okay. So along the way, like right before I could get out, how they bring the presentation, what's coming on next. And it was an African American family. So I said, okay, wow, who could the monster be here? So I'm watching it, and it's a older woman. I think they said she was 48, and she married a man who was 39. So they're like almost 10 years difference. I remember that's what stayed in my mind because I was like, wow, that's a gap. But at 39 and 48, it's not. It's not. So then I'm watching it. Of course the dog will start barking. I'm trying to find the right time to record. So they meet and they get married, and she's working for the Department of Labor. And he does speaking engagements because he was in jail for a while. The first crime he volunteered, he robbed somebody at gunpoint, and then his conscience got to him so badly that he went to the police and said, I did it. And in between him confessing that he did that robbery, this cop got it on his head and put another charge on him. I'm not so sure about, what the charge was exactly. Anyway, he was in jail. And finally, something like the Innocence Program got him out. So now he's free. He meets her, the 48-year-old woman, and he's 39, and they kick it off. He brings her to life. He's doing his speaking engagement. He has his own money. She's working for the labor department. I can't remember if state or government labor department, but she's with them. And they're having parties, and you see them dancing together, and it's wonderful. But the name of the show is The American Monster. So there's a monster somewhere. So I'm watching it. And then it gets to where the monster comes in. It's like she retires at 79. So that's up 48, 48, 58, 68. So they were together for 20 years. But remember, she was working all those 20 years. So she retires. Bam, she's home. Then all of a sudden, the family can't find her. They're calling, 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 calling. No one's answering on the telephone. They're calling, they're calling. So then the family members, they decided to go to the house to see why isn't she answering. They don't see her car, but they do manage to break into the house. Anyway, they get to the house. And they find her dead, stabbed up. And they know it is the monster now becomes the ex-husband because they get married, you know. And the family goes on, oh, the grandchildren, oh, he counseled and he helped me because he was a motivational speaker, the guy. Remember, she was 48, he was 39 when they got married. Yeah. So he was a motivational speaker. So he helped guide all the grandkids. Nobody looked like they was doing prison time and nothing like that. So he was he was, and they said he just appeared. He was there, and they were married, and she was happy, and he was happy. But now, since the 48-year-old woman is dead, and her husband, who is young, she's not 48 now. She's like 81, 82. Come on, okay. And the husband that is younger than her, he's 70 something. Anyway, the thing is, they made him the monster. And I thought it came right into my head. I was like, that's why I want me an older transgender man as a mate for me. Because you see, their whole relationship, she worked, he stayed home. Now she home, he home. And they started saying stuff like, he doesn't have any money. His whole income depends on her. No, if they was married, she retired, he gets it too. So it's not like that. If he gets Social Security, she gets it too. So I was like, no, y'all got that wrong. He had money. And then they said and he used to sit down and talk to me, and all of a sudden he was the monster. And I was like, you know what it was? They were in a house together. He didn't know how to say, let's go shopping. He didn't know how to say, let's go shopping. He didn't know how to look at her and say, wow, let's go get our nails done. You feel like going to get a pedicure? He didn't know those things. He didn't know how to say things to her because, see, he's a man. And now he's an old man. And he don't know what to do. He ain't never did nothing. She worked. He stayed at home. And they said something about him drinking. But he been drinking. They've been together for 20 years. And after a while, as you get older and you start drinking, I mean, you do have that burst of energy. But, oh, hi, Anna Louise. Thanks. Oh, you're driving to listen. Thanks. So, for me, I know how, if he had just said to her something which would be how these men are raised today, considered feminine. You're retired. Nobody said nothing about them going on a cruise. Nobody said nothing about them going out to dinner. She has always worked. The family always came over and they always did something together. But now she's retired. Where do we go? See, I'm telling you, from Martin, I know, and this is what the basis of these Bed-Stuy Brownstone stories are. Because as a young girl, just coming from South Carolina under a Baptist cult situation, child, where women were nothing. Honey, we were you take care of the man, you clean for the man, you just do everything for the man, you is nothing. The kids is important, you just is nothing. So that's what I came from, and I moved to Bed-Stuy, and I met Martin. And Martin said stuff like, "Oh, you got," I'm getting ready to cry. He said, "You got good cheekbones. You got high cheekbones. You know, if you put some blush and stuff in the," and I was like, wow. And then I would sit with Martin, and he was beautiful. He was beautiful. He was more proud to be a woman than I am. And I say he because he died while in transition. He never made the complete transition to woman, to being a woman. But he was always a woman. He always had his hair done up. He always had his makeup on. He always had his nails done. He always dressed nice. And if he was a woman, he was more proud of, see, this is the thing. And that's why I love T.S. Madison. More prouder to be a woman than I was. Every day he woke up a happy woman. Every day boy woke up a happy woman. And every day I woke up like the weight of the world was on me, and how many clothes I had to clean, and I didn't have a man to cook and wash and my whole being. And here's Martin, just happy to be a woman. So though you're old, as an older man to me, if you decide to take this journey and you decide to let that woman that was always in you, that you locked up, out, I'm the mate for you. See, because he'll know how to say. Martin used to say to me, I didn't know, let's go to the department store and get free perfume. I didn't know nothing about that. The couple times down south that I went to like a mall, it was with my thieving cousins. And I shook the whole time because I knew we was going to get caught and put in jail. So, or when I was younger, it was with my mother, but we didn't go through that. That was during racist time. So they wasn't spraying no perfume on you, and it was not giving you no free samples. So with Martin, we was on the bus heading to downtown Brooklyn. And it was wonderful. And the nails, and the doing the nails and putting the pressed nails on and massaging and doing the hands. My best girlfriend. I was a woman. I was born a woman, but I didn't know all that. Listen, I told you, I was down south. I was in Baptist. I tell you, woman's role is to screw everybody in the family, cook all the food, wash and clean the clothes, get a job, or if not, stay home and work, like make till you wish you had a job. Get a man, take care of him. The whole role was taking care of him. How are you gonna keep a man if you don't know how to make him food? I used to say to myself in my head, well, why he don't know how to make his own food? Transgender women know how to cook. Martin knew how to whip up something. Let me tell you something. I was a better cook. And I was young and I was judgmental, but Martin knew how to cook. So I'm looking, let's go back to the American Monster. So I'm looking at this couple and I'm like, okay, now he's the bad guy. And then someone in the family had the courage to say, well, the wife did always speak her mind. She never held back when it came time to saying stuff to him or talking. to him disrespectfully, and he reacted. But I don't see him as the American monster. I see the whole thing as an American tragedy. And for me, it let me know that, honey, I want me a transgender man. I'm a transgender woman. I want a man who isn't transitioning to becoming a woman. If he is bold enough to be a woman, and that's what I felt about Martin. That's what amazed me about Martin. I was like, dang, he proud to be a woman and want to be a woman, and they don't even like hiring us. I was like, dang, love being a woman. And they don't treat us like nothing. But I found out it wasn't love being a woman. It was the woman inside of him. It was always there. It was inside of him. It was inside of him. It was always there. And it was there for me because I needed a woman. I needed a strong woman. Like I said, I just left the Baptist cult, honey. I left the Baptist cult, and women were nothing, honey, but indentured enslaved people again. We wasn't looking good for a man. My grandmother should never say looking good for a man. In her eyes, you can look like a rag doll as long as you cook, clean, and take care of a man. Let him do what he want to do. Just be there for him when he comes back. And Martin was like, no, honey, Martin didn't handle his men like that. Yeah, it wasn't men like that. When he got his gifts and stuff right there. Now remember, Martin was in transition. Back in the day, it wasn't so easy like now. The government wasn't helping you like now. If anybody remember Dog Day Afternoon, where the guy held up the bank to get some money so his girlfriend who was in jail, who needed surgery to complete her transition, and he held up a bank to get the money. Okay, that's how it was back then. Okay, you had to go to all these back alley places and stuff like that and get all these shots. You don't even know what you're getting. Talking about talking about the coronavirus. Back then, you didn't know what you was getting when they put the needles in you. But you knew that the woman inside you wanted to bring outside. And that's what Martin was. And that's why I stand with the community. And that's why I love transgender women. Because they love women. Martin would look at, I've never had another woman look at me and say, put this lipstick on there and bring your lips out. Here, try this mascara. Try to put this on, and you say, "Oh, look, see how pretty it makes your eyes." Never had a woman talk to me like that, unless it was a sales clerk at a store trying to make a sale. But I have had more transgender. I've had gays. They get, okay. There's a difference. Sometimes I've had gays, but to me, my relationship with gay men or gay boys has always been uh more of a underhanded compliment. Okay, you know, like ooh, that perfume is nice. It'll look better on me though. See, that's my relationship with gay. Ooh, that dress is nice. but it would hang better on me than it's hanging on you. See, underhanded compliments. That's always been my relationship with gays. Lesbians, I had one relationship, if you call it that, and she was my boss. And she kept saying to me, daggone it, she kept saying to me that I was so strong. And she kept asking me, Vicky, how did you learn to be a strong woman? And at that time, I didn't think of Martin. I didn't. I didn't. Because if I had, I would say, a trans woman. A trans woman taught me to be a bad bitch. A trans woman lifted this little beaten down girl out of the mud, shook out, told her she was beautiful. That not only was I beautiful, but we were beautiful. And I can say back to him, he's beautiful. To Martin, remember, didn't complete the transition. Okay? I'm talking back in the 70s and 80s. It's not like it is now. So if I go back and forth, I'm trying to work it out when I told you, because at times, like when me and Martin would sit down and he would tell me he was having cramps, then we could do she talk. I said, girl, you want some? I don't know. I think they had Midol then. I said, girl, you need some Midol or something. I had to bleed all over my kid. We could get into such woman talk, and it was awesome. But that's what Martin did to me. Yeah. So I love trans women. And when on I'll talk about T.S. Madison on Thursday. I talk about her here, but I just want to bring this one thing to point. Besides her having her new show on Tuesday. But anyway, wait. This one thing to point. She loves women. I love them too. I'm proud to be a woman. But that was because when I left the South and came to New York and I met Martin, he was the proudest woman I knew. My sisters weren't proud. Please, they would get beat up and dragged by their husbands every day. I was a bad bitch. And I was cult abused. But I was a bad one. But it was Martin. It was Martin who just put the girl back in me. More prideful than anything. So that's what I like about trans. And every trans woman I have met since Martin, the thing I love, not just tears I've met like on a bus. Yeah, they're out there. Yep. Like I work with Miss Cappy. I mean, they're women. The only difference is they love being women. And women are taught from out of the womb that we're nothing, that we're a man's rib. Ain't that some BS? You're not even a whole woman. You're a man's rib. You're an extension of him. That's a beatdown. And I was like, what? And then I came from a father who was talking about two sides of the spectrum. Father Muslim, grandmother, which is his mother, Baptist. He hated the Baptists, so he went Muslim. But no, he hated that fact that during discrimination time, he had to stand on the bus from about Washington, Virginia, to Charleston, South Carolina in his army uniform. Okay, and when he got off that bus and took his savings and bought him a car and drove out of the South, never to return again, he found the Muslims. And the Muslims back then, don't beat me. I'm just telling you, I lived through it. They condone wife beating. You keep her in line. The man is the head of the house. Wife beating, children beating. He had to keep control of his household. So that's what I saw. I saw my stepmother with her rebellion was the fact that he couldn't beat her enough to make her stop smoking. So I remember, and she didn't really smoke. She lit the cigarette and put it down. But the fact that he couldn't take that away from her. But I remember her cigarette in her mouth, barefoot, foot on top of a mop, and holding on to the stick. I was like, wow. Wow. I don't want that. Now, on the other side, my birth mother, how could I say? She was bad. She was out there. She was out there. Maybe that's I just had a thought right now. Maybe that's what Cookie Monster reminds me of. But I don't know. My mother was out there. She was out there. She didn't take no stuff. She threw down. She fought. She drank. She partied. She had a good time. And when you put your hands on her, she fought you. She fought you with everything she had. But she was short-lived. Then I met my grandmother, who everything for her was almost like the will of God. And I call it the cult. But all through it all, it didn't teach me about being a woman that loves herself as a woman. It didn't. Didn't teach me that. It was what I met Martin. He said, you. What about you? What about you? This is what we women do. And I'm looking around, I'm like, well, all I see these women doing is getting slapped, dragged by men, be rated, belittled, and belied. Excuse me, that's all I saw. And they never talked about being happy to be a woman. They never talked about the joy of womanhood. Didn't talk about it. I mean, we got dressed up when women talked about getting dressed up. It was to get a guy, to make a guy see you. From my experience with trans, getting dressed up is to make yourself feel like a woman. See the difference? Like for you, one is for you. My trans In transition to woman Martin, who died before he can do the complete transition, he did everything to bring the woman that is inside of him to the outside. And in so doing, and my association with him, that woman that was inside of me that was either Muslim down or Baptist down, Martin pulled it out of me. And I became a woman. I didn't know I had good legs. Martin said I had great legs. And that's why I should wear this, or maybe I should wear this with this, and this and that. That's why maybe I should wear these shoes with this, because it made me look nice. And it did make me look nice, and it made me feel so good. It made me feel so good. So a lot of times over the years, I put this has happened when I was 22, 23. So I put all of that behind me. So things are happening in my life, and I'm not connecting the dots back to my in transition to be a woman friend Martin. But it does, it relates back to him. Feeling good about myself. No psychiatrist did that to me. Martin, who had a woman inside, did that for me. And just love a woman. He just loved. He loved how dresses hung off me when I put them on. No woman or man has ever told me like this. And my grandmother was a seamstress, but she would never say that. Martin said it hangs evenly. He would laugh because I had a flat butt. Give me a smack. But other than that, so when I deal with women, and it was a little scary because oh man, you really look, especially when you say it to African American, oh, you really look nice in that dress. Okay, you're lesbian, or you want something from, or you want a man. Oh girl, that makeup looks so good on you. Nope, to a lot of people that's a compliment. But to most African Americans, in my experience, that is the kiss of death. So you couldn't really compliment women too much. But in the community, I found out, even with the gay boys, they love compliments. They suck them up. They suck them up. They don't throw them back all the time, but they will suck them up. Boy, you look good in that. Oh man, where'd you get that from? You met? Yeah, girl, because I got that talent inside. See, I was born with that. See that? They suck it up. They suck it up. Oh, that makeup look good on you. Where'd you get that from, girl? I found out about foundation from the gay boys, not from Martin. We just did. I mean, we didn't have no money. Remember, that was the late 70s, early 80s. So that's what I wanted to tell you about American Monster. I was so happy and rooted and firm in what I want. If I'm to have a mate until I leave this earth, I don't want no kids. I do want an older person, but I want a transgender woman. I want someone to shop with who knows how to look and say, they know, because Martin used to just know what to say when you're feeling down. Know how to come. Girl, you too pretty to be sitting out here looking this ugly. that's when that's when something was wrong with you. I said, what is wrong? You too pretty to be sitting out here looking this ugly. Oh, maybe that was a little gay boy. But I found out from looking at American Monster, it just, let's say, solidified it for me. Brought everything home to roost. That I am correct in my chosen mate for the future if I'm to have one. And going back to the American Monster, he was an old man that just sat around and did nothing like old men do, because they start sitting around doing nothing as young men. They keep doing nothing as a middle age. And then when they retire, they do, if they do anything, it's get a younger girl to get them to do stuff. But as far as you're concerned, no. So as I was looking at that American Monster, I was solidified. I know what I want. I want to be able to look at my mate and say, hey, want to go try on some lipstick? Hey, this boutique I saw. Oh, and not a lot of people saw it. You want to go look at some clothes? Maybe get a scarf or two. I'll get some earrings. You can get some earrings too. Maybe they have some shoes or something, because you know those little boutiques. This is how I want to talk with my mate. I want him to say to me, you want to go get a pedicure? Or I scheduled us a pedicure. You want to go get your feet rubbed? And I said, oh man, I don't work hard all my life. I would love to have my feet rubbed. That's the kind of mate I want. I don't want another a miserable mate who's been a miserable man all the way through. I don't want that. I don't. And I'll always go back to Bruce Jenner to say that when he was Bruce, he was 70 something. He's Caitlyn. He's 5. But mentally, the perfect age. The perfect. For him, the perfect age mentally. And now that his inner woman is out, perfect. I want someone who takes care of their toenails. That may be really petty. I know that may be really petty, but I have never, ever, ever, ever in my relationship with transgender woman seen of them old nasty toenails hanging over that big toe. I never seen it. Always coiffured and polished. And me and Martin didn't have no lot of money, but when he put on his sandals, his foot looked good. Looked good. So I know that an older man that is going to transition to be a woman is the mate for me. He wants pedicures. He wants manicures. Depending on how his hair is, he may want to do some beautician time. We can go together. I made us beautician thing. Oh, we both retired. Oh, cool. Good. We gonna go to the mall. I made us a place at the mall to get our hair done, Then we get our nails done. We ain't even got to leave the mall. We can walk right over to the restaurant, sit at the bar, have a few drinks, get something to eat, go home, look at what we bought, tell each other we are beautiful until we go to bed. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Yeah, that's a win-win for me. That's a win-win for me. Okay? You look beautiful in that dress. And you look beautiful in that dress too. Okay. Now we got to find us a show, a play, something to go to. Because we look good. I don't want no old man. Uh uh oh, I got his tickets to go to play. I don't got to play. No man be good. Oh, dinner. Can't you cook dinner? You ain't been cooking. You ain't used to cook all the time. I don't want no mate like that. I don't want no mate like that. I want a mate that says, you know what? Let's save up our little money and just go for a weekend cruise somewhere. A weekend cruise to nowhere. And we do our little shopping. Get all our nails done, everything, and all excited. And we go and we do that. Because that's how women think. That's how you know it's a woman inside. You just know. And that's what I want. That's what this whole Bed-Stuy story for. Because I lived in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, when I met Martin. And Martin loved that woman that was inside that he had to make, coming outside, but it was inside him. And there was a scared little woman inside of me too. And Martin snatched that little scared woman out and shook out. And we had the best, I guess I would call that, when I look back, the best time in womanhood that I had was with a transgender woman. The best time. Because they love being women. They love breastises. They love buttses. They love having them. And I was taught that my beautiful breasts were to be covered, to be ashamed of, to be everything. But Martin said, nah, man. Man, he used to look at, yes, he did. He used to look at my breasts and said, girl, I wish I had them. Ain't nobody ever said that to me. Ain't nobody ever said that to me. Ever gave me that greatest compliment. And as they say, imitation is the highest form of flattery. So I know when they all run around and say, oh, old people, I'm not a cult member anymore. And I wish the community would stop trying to get into them cults. David Koresh wouldn't let you in his cult if he was alive. Not all the other one. Okay? When you fit in, you'll know it's not a cult. Okay? When you fit in, you know it's not a cult. You'll know it's just people meeting on a spiritual level. And ain't no leader, ain't nobody got to be high, and somebody got to be low, and somebody got to be underneath so you can stand on top of them, or somebody got to be spread out so you can stand on top of them as you climb up. No. Don't be begging to be letting them churches. No, don't go. It's a cult. And they got to have someone to step on. They got to have somebody to kick out. They got to have somebody to shut the door on. But if ain't nobody stand on the other side of that door, then who cares? So that's what I always want to say to the community. Don't. I remember when I used to look at RuPaul, and eventually, as I talk about series, we'll get to RuPaul. But I remember, oh gosh, Chandra. She said, "Hallelujah, hallelujah." That's what got her on there. Hallelujah. And I listen to Maddie now, and she goes through it, and I'm like, y'all trying hard to get into a cult. Look what James Jones cult got you. Okay, all right. Remember Jim Jones, Pastor Kool-Aid? Remember he was the leader, pastored around. You go on Sunday, you look up, you see a leader. You look in the congregation, you see followers. Ain't that the same thing? If he put Kool-Aid down and passed it around, ain't you taking it? Stop fighting to get into these places. And for me, I say for me, I said for me, I support the community. I am a 64-year-old woman who wants to finish out her life with a transgender woman. Because I know we're going to have a good time. I have always supported the community. I have always supported all the pronouns. And I love the unpronoun the most. Let a person be what they want to be. Stop trying to shape them into somewhat you can control that you want to be. So let me look at my little notes here. Oh yeah, Happy Emancipation Proclamation Day. I don't understand why African American community members don't celebrate Emancipation Proclamation Day more. Maybe they would have Emancipation Proclamation Days in their life every day because you're free. Maybe you stop trying to get into these cults once you realize Emancipation Proclamation freed your ancestors. You are free to be what you want to be. You ain't got to go around begging these folks for nothing. That's why you should celebrate Emancipation Proclamation Day, which is January 1st. Rome enslaved us. Enough with Rome already. Okay, what else I put in? I gotta take my glasses off. Yes, no, you're free. Okay, I did that. Yes, okay, I want to bring this up. In closing, I haven't heard it in a while, thank goodness, but I gotta put it out there for every talk. In my life, for me, a transgender woman was the biggest fish in our Bedford-Stuyvesant pond. All the women sitting out when Martin would come up who would get that attitude or get whatever, I can point out being beat up by your boyfriend, being beat up by your husband, being beat up by whoever come through, been beat down, being stepped on. And Martin was the only free woman because it was in here. That free woman. That Martin was the only free woman amongst us. The biggest fish. The biggest woman. So, just want to tell y'all my porch story. But that American Monster thing today, it it was like, you on the right track, Vicky. You just keep going where you're going. And I am, because there's a man that's like, oh my God, I love dresses. I love silk. I want to feel silk on my skin before I die. And I want somebody to enjoy me enjoying this process. And that's me. And it definitely solidified for me that I don't want no old man. I don't want no old man. I don't want no grumpy old man. I don't want no miserable old man. I want me a new. I want me it's transgender woman. There's no other word to say it. Someone who has let the woman that they were, inside them at birth, after 65, 70 years, you finally decide before you want to leave this earth that you want to be tender, you want to be kind, you want to be loving, you want to be free. You want to feel long hair on your neck instead of all this short hair. You want to see what a different color hair would look on you when you look in the mirror. Excuse me, y'all. Y'all know when I go into an hour, I have to start drinking water and coughing. And so that's what I want. If that's what you want, that's what I want. And that, like I said, seeing that today was like, I will be back on here. And I'll be on here Thursday talking to you from Bed-Stuy Brownstone Stories. And of course, I'm on YouTube. I won't be tomorrow because I did 7 days in a row walking. Because I had to walk, because today made it a full year that I have walked every morning except Sundays. I've done it for a year. I feel wonderful. I have muscles, etc., etc. So you can join me here on YouTube. I do it live on YouTube. And then, of course, I do Bed-Stuy Brownstone Stories on Sundays and Thursdays at 4:30. And here you go. I'm going to try this again. I don't want to sound so ghetto. I hope I don't have to turn anything off and on. Yay! It worked, y'all. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me for Bed-Stuy Brownstone Stories, where we support the community, the LGBTQ, and the ins, nons. I support people being who they want to be and how they want to be. And it's because of Martin, because of a transgender woman I met so young that taught me love of myself as a woman and love of women in general. I tell you. Thanks so much. I'll see y'all Thursday at 4:30. Please hit the like button. Client says that all the time. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. I'll see you next Thursday. Thanks for coming on the stoop and talking with me.